The Krillian War Academy had a special module dedicated to human military doctrine. It was taught in the comedy section. Instructor Vexthor would display holographic recordings of human soldiers crawling through mud, hiding behind improvised barriers, and using chemical propellant weapons. The cadets would vibrate with laughter, their species' equivalent of howling, at the primitive absurdity of it all. Krillians fought with honor, standing formations, energy shields, and plasma lances that could vaporize targets from 2 kilometers away. "Observe," Vexthor would announce, mandibles clicking with amusement, "how they waste energy on stealth and cover. As if hiding shows anything but cowardice." Then the Krillian Empire made their mistake. They attacked Outpost Artemis 7. Sergeant Jake Morrison had been alone on perimeter patrol when the drop ships descended. 23 Krillian shock troops in full battle armor, each standing 3 meters tall with personal shield generators and enough firepower to level a city block. They'd come to eliminate the human research station as a minor obstacle before claiming the mineral-rich planet. Morrison had a rifle, 40 rounds of ammunition, a combat knife, and 16 years of experience in Earth's special forces. The Krillians marched in formation toward the outpost, confident and unhurried. Their sensors detected one human life sign moving through the forest. Squad leader Krothzon ordered a single soldier to eliminate the target. It would be a training exercise for the youngest warrior. That warrior never reported back. Krothzon sent 2 more. They found their comrade hanging from a tree, killed by a primitive blade to the thermal exhaust port in his armor. Before they could react, chemical propellant rounds tore through their unshielded joints. The shields were designed for energy weapons, not solid projectiles. Morrison was already gone, disappeared into terrain he'd studied for months. The Krillians activated combat protocols, spreading out, scanning constantly. But Morrison had learned something during his years fighting insurgents on Mars and jungle guerrillas on Kepler 442b. Advanced technology made patterns. Predictable patterns. He used the forest itself as a weapon. A tripwire made from wire cable sent a Krillian tumbling into a ravine. Another stepped on a pressure plate triggering a deadfall of logs, crude, but effective against shields designed for energy attacks. Morrison picked them off one by one, never staying in one position, always moving, always thinking 3 steps ahead. The Krillians, trained for honorable combat, found themselves fighting a ghost. Their sophisticated sensors were useless against someone who understood how to mask heat signatures with mud and thermal blankets. Their formation tactics meant nothing against an enemy who refused to fight fair. Krothzon watched his squad diminish through his tactical display, disbelief turning to something his species rarely experienced, fear. This wasn't combat. This was being hunted. When only 5 Krillians remained, huddled back-to-back near their landing zone, Morrison finally appeared. Not attacking, just standing at the tree line, rifle lowered, watching them. Waiting. Krothzon understood the message. The human was giving them a chance to leave. They fled. 3 weeks later, Instructor Vexthor stood before his academy class, but the holographic display no longer showed human tactics in the comedy section. The footage of Outpost Artemis 7 had been moved to Advanced Asymmetric Warfare Studies. Note, Vexthor said quietly, his earlier amusement gone, how the human uses environment, psychology, and adaptive thinking. He doesn't fight the battle his enemy expects. He creates a new battlefield entirely. One cadet raised a manipulator appendage. But instructor, humans have inferior technology, shorter reach, weaker bodies. And yet, Vexthor interrupted, one of them defeated 23 of our finest warriors. Perhaps we've been measuring the wrong attributes. The recording played again, Sergeant Morrison, standing alone in the forest, watching an entire Krillian squad retreat. A single human soldier who'd turned their strengths into weaknesses and their certainty into doubt. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. Humanity didn't win because they were stronger or more advanced. They won because they refused to fight by anyone's rules but their own.